Samina Askari says, dear brother, how do I bring back my 21-year-old and 20-year-old boys to Salah? If I force them, they do not like it. SubhanAllah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide your children and all of our children to that which is the truth and to that which is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. The first thing, my sister Samina, is that you make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Beg Allah, because a parent's du'as are very, very, very important in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So beg Allah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept, guides your children. This is something that, my own mother did for me many, many years ago. I was not practicing myself Islam, unfortunately, and my mother used to make a lot of dua for me. And, cry at night, cry in the daytime. It is something that, a parent's dua is very, very important. And that's why you got to be really careful that you don't give bad du'as. Sometimes in anger, parents give bad du'as, and the angels can say Ameen to those du'as, and perhaps those du'as can come true. So you got to be very careful. So the first piece of advice I would give is to make du'a to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2, set a good example to your children, right? Make sure that you pray with them. Number 3, try to connect them with paradise and hell. Do not force them to pray by saying, oh, you know what, if you don't pray, I'm going to hit you, or I'm going to be angry with you. No, connect the prayer with, the command to obey Allah. Connect it with fear of hellfire, fear of the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Connect it with the hope of mercy and the hope of love, and having love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Try and build love. Also, in their presence, put on Islamic lectures, especially those which remind us of death, remind us of paradise and hell. Try and get them to recite the Quran, and along with the translation if they don't understand Arabic, so that they can understand what their Lord is saying to them. But also, the next piece of advice I would give is try and build rapport with your children. Make your children your best friends. One of the detrimental things that some parents do, unfortunately, is that they always criticize their children. They always tell them off. Don't do that, because then you're building a negative barrier between you and your child, and you are unable to influence them, and they will just stop enjoying being part of your company. So what you need to do is, say positive things to them when they do good things. Look out for things that they do that are good and praise them for that, and build so that they also know. Because of course parents love their children, but sometimes if you're always telling off your child, you're always being negative to your child, then that child begins to resent that every time I'm in your company, you're always saying something negative to me. So try and be positive, hold your tongue, build a rapport with your child, right? This is really important. Build a positive rapport so that when you give advice, you give it in a good way, a positive way. Praise them when they do something good, okay? So those are some of the pieces of advice. Also try and, learn about the evidence, about the importance of the prayer. Learn about the evidence from the Quran and Sunnah about the importance of the prayer, and try and explain that to them. Connect them with love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and love of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.